Hey, how's it going, guys? I do want to thank the company for sending this out. So this is the all-new DOOGEE V30T, similar to the DOOGEE V30 that I saw not too long ago. This one seems to have more RAM just from what I read up front, which is, it says 20 gigabytes of RAM, 12 gigabytes of main RAM, and then the rest is just VRAM. That's just a marketing ploy, in my opinion, just seeing VRAM. In the box, we've got the smartphone itself here. Okay, it's in kind of like a brownish gold, especially on the back. Got a screen protector here along with screen protector accessories, but I think there is a screen protector that comes pre-installed. The user manual, a fast charger, and as well as a USB-C cable. I think it's USB-C to USB-C. Yep, it is. And then this gives you 0 to 50% in 30 minutes. It mentions it right here. This is actually kind of a really nice look. It looks smooth, it feels kind of nice instead of that cheap glossy plastic that I've seen before. On the side we have the customizable button here, the microSD card tray, which is much easier to access now. They fixed that from the previous gen. Nothing much on this top except there are front-facing speakers on top and bottom. This is what was on the V30 and it sounds pretty good being on the front. They were kind of tinny when it got super loud, but again, front-facing speakers are always the way to go. The volume keys are on the right side as well as the power button and fingerprint scanner, and this seems to be pretty accurate from what I tested out before. I don't think anything's changed there. And then on the bottom you can access the USB-C port to recharge it. On the back you have some cameras as well as flashlights. On the side, I think it only emits from like one side here, and the other one is like an IR blaster or something like that. And can confirm that after taking this out, there is a screen protector that comes pre-installed with it. It's always appreciated to see that. Oh, by the way, the speakerphone is on top there. I just noticed there's an LED light that's on the left side here, as you can see there. And the fingerprint scanner works like 8 out of 10 times. There's also a face unlock, so let's see how well it does. It does a pretty good job. Unlocks it almost instantly. Okay, and then face unlock worked again. Like a charm. Face unlock just works so quickly, it's really nice. And out of the box, there's not too much bloatware, it seems like. And then out of the box, there's a ton of storage there. You have about like 243 gigs available. That's quite a bit. And then there is the microSD card slot if you need even more than that. The screen itself is pretty vibrant and responsive from what I've seen. I haven't noticed any major delays from doing basic tasks so far for the most part. I don't know if this is enough to use outside in broad daylight. I believe this has like 400 to 450 nits, somewhere along those lines. And the bezels are pretty thick on top and bottom, kind of to be expected on a rugged smartphone like this, but it's not that bad. It is going to be pretty thick and heavy for if you're coming from like the average smartphone. On the other side, the actual doors and everything. Okay, so the speakers do get tinny, but they do get relatively loud, so I would just turn it down a notch and I think I'd be satisfied with it. Video quality was pretty good, being able to watch videos at Full HD 1080p. It could be scaled up to 4K, but I don't know if it's worthwhile because it will be kind of capped at 1080p for the most part. Maybe it might look slightly better, but besides that, unfortunately this has a widevine level of L3, so videos are capped at 480p on Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, etc. And real quick, this is running Android 12 with 12 gigabytes of basic RAM. I shouldn't call it basic, but 8 gigabytes is the VRAM and 12 gigabytes is the actual RAM. So 8 gigabytes of VRAM, that is whatever. I don't really care. It could be a lot less or a lot more, and it wouldn't make much of a difference to me. 12 gigs is not bad. The previous one, V30, had 8, so the more the merrier. I don't mind, I guess, but I'd be curious to see how much better performance really is from that. Not to say that performance was bad on the previous one. It actually was really solid. Genshin Impact worked really well along with some other games. On Geekbench, I took a couple screenshots. The scores are a tad higher than initially. The single core score is a little bit more notable than the multi-core score. I think the multi-core score is up by like maybe just double digits. So nothing significant, I'd say. But again, RAM is RAM. The more the merrier. And this is what it shows on CPU Z. But the CPU is pretty much the same as before. I'm not sure about the GPU. The Mali G68 MC4 sounds new to me, but it could have the same one on the previous one. Either way, I'll check out some gaming in a moment. And yeah, since we're on the topic of, since we're at the screenshot area, I might as well show you some pictures that I took. So this camera is about the same as the last one on the V30. It's pretty good. I like it personally. I think it's pretty solid, the post-processing and everything. Don't expect Apple quality though. I've heard people ask me about that. No, it's not that, like, it's not on the high level, but it's still pretty decent for a mid-range phone, I'd say. Even when I was outside, it was actually, the screen was surprisingly viewable. Albeit it might be a little harder than average, but still viewable nonetheless. It's not actually, I wouldn't say hard, but it's just not completely bright, but it's definitely viewable, that's for sure. Then with Google Photos, I guess you can fix the lighting with post-processing. And I think that's kind of interesting. Kind of nice to have too. Okay, so there is absolutely no light here. And the IR blaster for night vision works pretty well. You can see my car here. And yeah, it's kind of scary actually. You can use this camera at nighttime with the IR blaster. It'll be in black and white, but still nonetheless it's better than nothing. And the front-facing camera is still kind of decent. I don't see the beauty filter. Oh, there's the beauty filter. So that kind of takes away some of, I guess, some wrinkles or pimples that I have. Nonetheless, I don't mind it at all. The main thing that I use it for is just face unlock, which I don't see it, of course. But yeah, I think I'm noticing more often than not that face unlock is just so accurate and quick. I love that about this. First game here is RuneScape, and it seems to be working really smoothly. I don't think I've seen this game run any smoother on any other device, except maybe the DOOGEE VMAX that they have, but that's beside the point. Yeah, this is actually really smooth. I guess 12 gigabytes of RAM does make kind of a difference. Let me just take a look at the settings here real quick, see what we have. These were the current graphics settings, and the frames per second was at 60. I wish they had 120 so that you can kind of see how 120 works on this device. Let me go ahead, and then this is pretty much everything else that was on. So I guess it's not consistent 60 FPS, but it's like really close to it, so it's good enough. The farther out you go, I notice it gets a little bit more like, you see more frame rate drops, and you can see the FPS counter up there goes to like the low 50s and high 40s. But then the closer I get, the smoother it is, which makes sense. I've maxed out all the settings, and it looks really nice, but it doesn't work really well. At least it didn't crash. The frame rates drop really low. It gets to like single digits at certain areas. So I think you can tell there's going to be a lot of hiccups and stuttering. So you can play this with like mid to low settings without any problems. Next game here is Honkai Star Rail, and it seems to work pretty decently. No major lag or stutter from what I've seen here. Now the graphics are set to pretty low. Besides the FPS being to 60, I haven't changed anything else here. So this will be the best settings, low settings. I can try to tweak it a little bit, see what we get here. Just changing something like the resolution. It looks like it's not as smooth in frame rates, but still playable for sure. And it does look cleaner this way. Okay, these are the graphics set to like very high or maxed out pretty much. The only difference is that this is set to 30 FPS, not 60, and the frame rate is not smooth anymore. I wonder if it's because the frame rates were changed to 30 or capped at 30. I still think it should have been a little smooth that way. But let's see here if it's a little bit better. Seems like it is a little bit better. You know what? No, I think this probably isn't playable at 60 or maxed out settings. So low to medium settings works pretty much fine on here. No problems whatsoever that way. On this one, you'll start to see like some more frame rate drops and stuttering, like I see it here. But nonetheless, I think overall everything on here is relatively impressive. The battery life so far from just testing it out for a few hours, I'm at 75%. I left it on overnight and only lost like 1%. And I think you should easily get 3 days out of this based on my testing from the old DOOGEE V30. It's funny I say old, it's not really that old. But yeah, the DOOGEE V30T pretty much has all the great things that the V30 had, along with just more RAM. That might be a noticeable, and it is kind of a noticeable difference from what I've seen here. Overall, I think this is a good choice. It's a pretty good phone overall. Again, my one biggest gripe is phones not having a wide-vine security level of L1, because if I want to watch Netflix, I don't want to watch videos at 480p. I want it to be at least HD or full HD, because this has a nice screen at 1080, so should be able to enjoy it. But that is my one gripe with these smartphones in general. Either way, guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Is there a better smartphone out there than this? A better rugged smartphone, to be more specific? Because, yeah, it is 10,800 milliamp hours, and it seems like it can handle some falls, but I don't want to risk it with this, because it is heavy, too. That's the other thing, so I don't know how much it would withstand a fall. I guess if there's enough interest, we might do this. But because I did it last time and nobody was really interested in seeing that, so it is what it is. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.